now tune in to Kons Podcast.
Kons Podcast.
Hate me, don't you?
Hit that like button, subscribe and share.
Hate me, don't you?
Constant content.
So Cardi B, we all know Cardi B and Nikki Minaj been going back and forth hard. They've been mentioning each other's kids. And Diddy been denied. You know what I mean? He had put a motion into the courts. You know what I'm saying? Trying to put in that for chopping it up. And Young Thugs was asked. He was asked who his top 5 is. You know what I'm saying? He was asked who his top 5 rappers. Diddy update is fresh from today. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I didn't record yesterday. Like I said, y'all know when I don't record, stuff be happening. You know what I mean? The judge is definitely not finna grant him no 14 months. You know what I mean? Definitely sounds like the judge is definitely not gonna grant that. And I heard Diddy made a plan actually for Monday of some type of talk that he had scheduled, thinking and hoping. Yeah, what's going on? What's happening? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? It is a good Friday. You feel me? It's a good Friday to tune in to Kons Podcast. You know what I'm saying? The heat is definitely gone out here in Sacramento, California. It's definitely been diminished. We have been getting rain, overcast, gray clouds. You know what I mean? No sunlight. That's the type of weather I've been waiting on. You know what I mean? So it's definitely cold, cool down out here. I think the high today is like a 74 or something dope like that. You know what I mean? So shout out to the weather. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I've been waiting on this. You feel me? So today's episode, you know what I mean? 311. I got a couple things I'm gonna cook up today for y'all. A couple of, good information. You know what I'm saying? Got information on this Diddy case. You know what I'm saying? Got information on Cardi B and her little funk going back and forth with Nicki Minaj on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Got some other Diddy updates. Some stuff he was trying to talk to the judge about and convince the judge on. His team was trying to put forth to the judge how much time he was going to get. I got Young Thug talking about his top 5 rappers, and he spoke on the Drake and Kendrick beef. You know what I mean? I got who he picked, who he sided with and why and all that. I got clips on all that today for episode 311. You know what I mean? So today might be a little clip heavy. You know what I'm saying? But definitely gonna be packed with a lot of information. This episode gonna be straight shot, straight through. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna be editing. I'm not finna be cutting my words up or cutting out my voices and deep breaths I take for breathing control. You know what I'm saying? I usually cut all that out. That's why you see my speech chopped up and all that. But today ain't gonna be no chopping up. It's gonna be a straight through. It's pretty much gonna be a live episode. You know what I'm saying? So whatever cups I do is just gonna be in here, you feel me? So if I happen to not censor myself on a cuss word, that cuss word is just gonna have to fly, you know what I mean? So when I edit this, I'm just gonna put the clips in. I'm not even gonna go over what I'm saying now type deal to try to even go back and edit. Because if I listen to it when I'm editing, I'm gonna want to cut it up and edit it, you know what I mean? So I'm not even gonna listen to it. I'm just gonna go straight to where the clip is at, throw the clip in, and then on to the next. So this pretty much gonna be a live episode, you know what I'm saying? 311, you feel me? Episode 311. So if you just now tuning in, you don't know what this channel's about, you know what I'm saying? Now that we got that out the way, let you know that there ain't gonna be no editing. It's gonna be straight through, you feel me? So if you was wondering what this channel is about, this channel is about headlines, news, updates, whatever headlines that you may have seen, whatever updates is going on, whatever is trending. Whenever you type in that search bar on TikTok, whatever is trending when you type in the search bar on Google, you know what I'm saying, a hip-hop DX, whatever news may be trending, I'm definitely touching on some of that right here on Kons Podcast, you know what I mean? So keep that locked, you feel me? Hit that subscribe button, keep it locked, hit the like button, comment on what you think, comment on what you heard about on news you might have heard about that I ain't covered, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? Drop a comment for me, you feel me? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Quick little recap, you know what I mean? Episode 310, you know what I'm saying? In case you missed that, you want to go back and watch it, you know what I'm saying? Episode wasn't too much, just updated you on the David case, you know what I mean? Updated you on that David case and what he was doing. I'm probably going to have some more updates on that next week. And I also let you know that Diddy is going back in court. They're going to be dropping the gavel on him with his final sentencing today, you know what I'm saying? But I let you know that was coming earlier in the week. So for episode 311, you know what I mean? Got a few topics I'm going to cook up. I told you the topics earlier, you know what I mean? So first up, without no chit-chat, banter, you know what I'm saying? We're going to jump right into these topics, you feel me? So first up, let me get rid of these notes on my screen. So first up, you know what I mean, Cardi B, you know what I'm saying? So Cardi B, we all know Cardi B and Nikki Minaj been going back and forth hard. They've been mentioning each other's kids, you know what I'm saying? And some more's been getting ugly, you know what I mean? You're going to see in the clip, they're going to share a bunch of tweets that they've been doing with each other. And dude has some good points to do with that. You're going to see in the clip, definitely spoke on some good things. So they was going back and forth, and Nikki Minaj started taking shots at Cardi B's daughter. When she smiles, she has like a high gum line. So Nicki Minaj was taking a bunch of shots at that, you feel me? And then Cardi B came and addressed her by her government name and pretty much said that I gotta pull up since you mentioning my kids like that, and said some other stuff, but she kept it real, you know what I'm saying? Definitely kept it professional, I would say, you know what I'm saying, in the letter by addressing her real name and told her pretty much, you know what I'm saying, you want that smoke, now we gotta fight. Pregnant and all, I'm willing to pull up to your crib wherever you say, ain't you in New York, drop the location, all this and that was going on, you know what I'm saying, between the two. So I got some clips that's going to show you the different tweets and the things that's been going on between the two. You know what I'm saying? Also, Cardi B came on live and was asking for some type of prayers because she said she's been feeling a whole lot of bad juju. So hopefully this is probably from the beef that she's been going on and all of the crap mess that's been being exchanged between her and Nicki Minaj. That would definitely bring some bad juju. So that's what you're going to see in the clips. You definitely going to see Cardi B, somebody speaking on and showing you the funk and the tweets between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. And also you're going to see her asking for prayers and said that her mom is she does something with her mom as far as some type of ritualistic thing she named. But you're going to see in the clip. Check these clips out.
Cardi B takes to live to express her concerns for herself and her newborn and asks for prayer. Check this out.
I called my mom the other day to pray over me and my baby because I feel like a lot of weirdness has been coming out from people and women and all this stuff ever since I announced that I was pregnant. And it's funny because I know that y'all knew that I was pregnant because clearly everybody kind of figured that I was. But the negativity and the weirdness that people are bringing and putting, I told my mom, like, please pray for me and for the Lord to cover me. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I got my Bible and everything. And of course, people pray for me all the time. But like, there's nothing like I personally believe nothing is as powerful as a mother's prayer. So I tell her to pray for me and pray for my baby because I feel like it's just like a lot of dark energy. And like when I say a lot of dark energy, there's a lot of weird bitches that like will wish you weird shit on your kid, like stillbirth, death, slowness. You know what I'm saying? So and I feel like and I feel that energy. I feel that. I feel people putting that on me. I don't know, is it jealousy? I don't know what it is. It is what it is. I'm pregnant, baby. I can't get rid of it no more. Too far gone. So I don't know. I just feel it because it's just like, my fans know it though. Like, there's just been a lot of like tension and it's like, damn, the baby, the drama. And I've been pregnant a whole bunch of time, motherfuckers. I just feel like it's just too much negativity. But yeah, I ain't fucking with my mom prayer. Because one thing about my mom, she's like an angel on earth. So God do listen to my prayer, but like, I'm not like the most angelic person.
Well, Cardi, you know, you feel like ever since you've become pregnant, people have just become very wicked and evil, and you might be picking up a lot of different demonic activity. And though I don't hope that any demonic attacks or any harm will come to you or your child, you have to consider the part that you might be playing in giving the enemy access to your life through maybe dressing up like a demon, through maybe your very sinful and seductive and lustful music. You know what's in your music, Cardi. You even admitted yourself that there are demonic spirits that are released through your music. You don't think that that's going to affect you and your children? Your mother can only do so much for you. Yes, your mother can pray, but we all have free will. And if we have our loved ones praying for us, for our protection, we have to make sure that we're taking the steps to close those demonic doors and to cut off the access that the enemy might have in our life. Do you guys know that Cardi B once abandoned one of her homes and went to sleep in a hotel because she believed the house was haunted? She felt like there was a ghost in the house that wanted to have sex with her. They're definitely not ghosts. I'm going to show you guys that video and explain to you exactly what's going on with Cardi B, but I'm not going to do it here.
All of us were sound asleep last night. These two were going back and forth on Twitter all fucking night. We need to talk about what happened. As of the last few days, Cardi B has been celebrating the success of her latest album, Am I the Drama? This was one of the screenshots that she posted to Instagram that says that she is the first female rapper in history to debut her first 2 albums, so in a row, on the Billboard 200 as the #1 album. This is another screenshot that she posted. It reiterates the same point and also states that she's the only female rapper in history to have all of her albums sell at least 200,000 copies the first week. Oh, and this was another one that she posted, that she is the first female rapper in history to have 25 songs simultaneously charting in the top 200 on US Apple Music. It seems that Nikki did not take kindly to this as she started tweeting out some really shady stuff. Now, the tweets I'm about to show you, they're gonna be out of order only because Nikki has since deleted all of these tweets, so I was just grabbing from like the screenshots I could find online. Although I promise y'all you're not losing any context that they're not in order. These are the tweets that I believe started it. Nicki Minaj tweets out $4.99 in reference to Cardi B's album selling for $4.99 right now. And she says ABCDEFG rap like Barney still ugly. And this is a clear reference to Cardi B's song Magnet, in which she says ABCDEFG, these bitches can't fuck with me. And that lyric is a direct shot at like the Barbs, who often say that Cardi B is an ABCDEFG rapper, meaning her rhymes are like super simple. There's no technical ability to her raps and her rhymes. She calls Cardi B Barney B and then again tweets out ABCDEFG and says Cardi B has a heavy tongue. She continues ABCDEFG pregnant, play with his boy, you know what, which I think is in reference to these allegations against Stefon Diggs that have been floating around recently about him allegedly essaying a man. So I think that that's related to that. She also says ABCDEFG surgery to look like me, tell the rat and tell Jay-Z, Rico fraud and perjury. Here are some more tweets. In this image, she obviously like photoshopped Barney's body and face to like an actual image of Cardi B on the red carpet. In this one, she says, raw dogging pregnant with the 4th baby, Barney B, BV, like bacterial vaginosis, HPV, allegedly. Nikki continues, she says, ABCDEFG fallen off the charts with a big belly, running trains, barefoot, still smelly, still you could not outsell me. And she even tweets out ABCDEFG lied and said mom was Trini, obviously implying that Cardi B has lied about her mom being from Trinidad. Now, Cardi B was not one to hold back. She tweeted this out and said, nah, because I was really baking ribs and making blondie brownies, and here come this bitch bothering me on a damn Monday. And then she posted this photo of Nicki Minaj's actual brother, his mugshot in a pink wig. Now, if you did not know, Nicki Minaj's brother is in jail right now for essaying his 12-year-old stepdaughter. At the time of his conviction and sentencing in 2020, Nicki Minaj had written a letter to the judge saying that her brother was patient, gentle, genuine. She also said that the allegations were false and he was still sentenced to 25 years to life. Oh, and it's been reported that allegedly Nicki Minaj also paid for all of his legal fees throughout the entire trial. Anyway, let's continue. Cardi B says ABCDEFG, your man has to snatch, you know what? She tweets out a lyric from her song Magnet that says, tastes like honeycomb, and then she says, your bro be touching 12-year-olds. She also tweets out, damn, she was streaming Magnet hard as hell, huh? Now Cardi B continues. She says, you must have missed me, huh, crazy? Now kiss my feet. She says, nothing more annoying than a bored bitch. And then she says, the power I have, make these bitches come out of rehab every time. Go to your fucking room. Now Nicki Minaj has been on a hiatus from social media for the last month, maybe like month and a half. She hasn't posted anything. This is the first time she comes back to social media in all these weeks. So I think Cardi's insinuating here that she's been away at rehab. And she also says, white powdery substance Barbie. Now Cardi B continues and says, why do you keep bringing up my album? It's not the gag that you think it is. You've been in the game like 16 years. You need to compare yourself to your peers that started around your time. Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Drake, those are the numbers you need to be competing with, and you can't because you're doing lower than all of them. I was in high school when you came out. What the fuck is you comparing yourself to me for? Then Cardi B ends it. She says, all right, now this is the third tweet talking about my pregnancy. Like you wasn't going to different fertility doctors because you couldn't reproduce from all them perks scrambling your eggs. Not allegedly. Lord protect my babies. And that is just wild. I also wonder, how the fuck does Cardi B have everyone's tea like this? Because she was just talking about JT having abortions. Like, how does she have everybody's tea? Now, Nikki did leave a couple tweets up, and this is one of them. It's a photo of an eagle. Now, what I gathered from some of the responses is that she's kind of hitting back at Cardi B. Her album cover is like her with a bunch of crows. And according to some of these responses, eagles and crows have a very like sort of interesting dynamic where crows will try to defend their territory and provoke reactions from eagles by jumping on their back and like pecking at their neck, and instead of fighting back, the eagle will often just like soar higher into the sky, like they'll fly higher, which causes the crow to fall off. Also, I think Nikki is implying that there's a little bit of a hierarchy here. We know eagles are super powerful, deadly predators, and crows are scavengers. They're a little bit more opportunistic, and they'll eat out of a garbage can if they have to. And this was another tweet that she left up. This was a repost from someone else where she says, despite false reports, Nicki Minaj is the only female rapper to have an album cross 200,000 units first week this decade. At this point, I don't even know who's telling the truth. Now, one other thing that caught a little bit of attention that people were laughing about was JT inserting herself into the conversation. At one point, she tweets out, that bitch, she's talking about Cardi B, home ugly and mad, no celebration. I would have been breakdancing right now if I was number one, but she knows she lied. And a lot of people were just quoting the fact that she's like, if I was number one, they're like, yeah, that's obviously never gonna happen. You wouldn't know. But that's everything I have on this beef so far. I do wonder if the girlies are gonna keep going back and forth or not. And also, next up, I'm going to post the clip, the leaked audio clip of Cardi B on the phone with Ice Spice's manager threatening to beat the shit out of her. And calling Lotto a pussy. Like, we're going to talk about all of that in my next video.
Damn, it's too old for us. So as you seen in that clip, you know what I'm saying? I was just letting you know and showing you a bunch of tweets that's been going on between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Has been getting ugly. You know what I'm saying? Diddy been denied. You know what I mean? He had put a notion into the courts. You know what I'm saying? Trying to put in that for him to have time served. He was putting in for him to get about 14 months, which he'd been in there about 13, 14 months already. So he looking to get released or trying to have the trial acquitted. You know what I'm saying? He had filed this notion earlier in the week. You know what I'm saying? But he has definitely been denied. You know what I mean? Trying to be acquitted for a new trial, and also saying that the jury was prejudiced after finding out his previous convictions and saying they was influenced by his previous sex trafficking charges. The judge said he didn't know the right definition for prostitution and went on to explain to Diddy the full definition of prostitution and sex trafficking by the book, by the law book. You know what I'm saying? He went on to explain that to him and denied both notions from Diddy, and then listed the reasons. You will hear those in the clip. Kadisha Lynn gonna break it all down. And also some assistant that said he was an ex-assistant that Diddy also said Diddy was grooming him and being violent towards him, said he choked him out. Some dude named Deontay Nash, some ex-stylist, you know what I'm saying, said he used to keep a runaway bag because Diddy was so violent. Said he used to keep shoes, tank top, and a little, whatever little fit he had and some money just in case he needed to dip off. because Diddy was being so violent. So the next little clip you're about to see is just definitely Khadijah Lynn breaking this all down, and also a clip from Deontay Nash giving you detail that Diddy was being too violent with him. Check this clip out.
You were strangled on several occasions.
Several.
Was there ever a point where you thought, I could die?
The whole time. I said, he gonna kill us. He is going to kill us.
You talk in the lawsuit about literally having a to-go bag and cash just in case you had to go into hiding?
It has some underwear, some shorts, a tank top, a hoodie, and, you know, just some Vans.
And you
I
say
would
this
just,
so
like,
casually, like this was normal behavior at that time.
Normal behavior, and it would be like, you know, very normal. This was normal. Very normal behavior, and everybody pacified it. So who are we gonna tell? Like, who exactly were we gonna tell? Who are we gonna call? Ghostbusters? Like, there was no one there to say
He
that.
has been denied his request for an acquittal or a new trial, and that means his sentencing hearing is moving forward on this Friday, October 3rd. The judge just now filed his opinion and order saying that for the following reason, both motions for an acquittal or a new trial are denied. He lists the reasons why, and he starts off with Diddy's proposed definition of prosta is wrong. Holmes argues that prosta is properly defined and has two elements that are absent from his case. First, the defendant must have a financial motive, and second, the exchange of money for physical relations must be bilateral. Whoever pays for the relations must engage in it. Those were Diddy's arguments. He was saying that if you don't pay for physical relations, then it's not prosta, and if you're the one watching it, then it's also not prosta. Holmes first argues that prosta in the Mann Act requires that the defendant have a financial motive. There is nothing in the text of the statute to support this requirement, and it doesn't make sense in this context. Combs wasn't convicted of prosta, but rather transporting others for prosta. Combs seems to be conflicting two things: the definition of prosta and the motive of the defendant who transports somebody for prosta. The statute requires only intent that the transported person engage in prosta, which means it doesn't mean that you are engaging in it. It means you are transporting either Cassie or Jane or these male workers for prosta. A bilateral exchange of money for physical relations is not required. Combs also argues that prosta is strictly bilateral transaction. One party pays another for physical relations, then those same two parties have the physical relation. He said that definition would narrow prosta out of existence, would exclude any situation in which a person pays for physical relations to a third party like a brothel to have physical relations with an employee. Saying based off the statutes of the laws, Diddy's arguments just didn't make sense. Holmes also argued that because he is an amateur adult film producer and consumer, his conviction violates his First Amendment rights. And the judge said this argument fails for two reasons. First, Combs' conduct is not protected by the First Amendment. Legal activity cannot be laundered in constitutionally protected activity just to be desired to watch it. Combs' conduct goes far beyond that point. Evidence at trial shows when Combs filmed, he typically didn't give notice ahead of time or ask for consent, as a film producer would. He also pleasured himself to these films, suggesting that the purpose was his immediate gratification. Diddy also tried to argue that he should get a new trial under Rule 33 because his RICO and trafficking charges shouldn't have been joined together with the Mann Act counts. Diddy was trying to say that the evidence on the RICO and trafficking charges prejudiced him on the Mann Act counts. The judge is saying, you were acquitted on the RICO and trafficking counts, so your claim is that the jury was prejudiced against you because of the evidence of racketeering and trafficking, but they didn't find you guilty on those counts. As described earlier, the government at trial presented an overwhelming amount of evidence of Combs' guilt under the Mann Act on many occasions with respect to both Cassie Ventura and Jane. That evidence consisted of testimony from Ventura and Jane, testimony from escorts involved, and also evidence from text messages and emails. The government has proved its case many times times over. That by itself might be enough to dispose of Combs' challenge. He concedes that under the second factor, if the inflammatory evidence would have been admissible anyway on a separate trial for the remaining counts, then his claim of spillover prejudice likely fails. Weighs heavily that the jury declined to convict him on any of those counts related to that conduct, and had prejudice indeed been so great, one would expect a jury to convict on the most relevant counts, and for that reason, a new trial is not warranted. So for all those reasons that Diddy listed trying to get an acquittal or a new trial, he has just been denied. So that means the sentencing hearing is still on for this Friday, October 3rd. And you guys already know, I'll see y'all there. We know the prosecution is asking for an 11-year sentence. Diddy is wanting 14 months, but the probation department is asking anywhere from 70 to 80 months. And usually the judge does fall in the guidelines of what the probation department asks for. It should be interesting to watch this play out and see exactly what's going to happen. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
I know that was kind of clip heavy, you know what I mean? Definitely a lot of clips, but I wanted to get the information in there to you on what Diddy was trying to notion to the trial, and being that the judge denied him of everything. Young Thug, you know what I'm saying? Young Thug went on Aiden Ross's stream. You know what I mean? Young Thug went on this stream and they got to chopping it up. You know what I mean? They got to chopping it up, and Young Thug was asked, he was asked who his top 5 is. You know what I'm saying? He was asked who his top 5 rappers is, top 5 albums is. You know what I mean? He had Tupac in there. He had a Drake album in there, I think Take Care. You know what I'm saying? There's some other stuff was in there in his top 5. And also he discussed on what he felt about the beef that went on, that we all witnessed as the world together. We all witnessed the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. You know what I'm saying? He went on to explain who he felt won and who he felt was coming out victorious in their own ways type deal. You know what I mean? He didn't really say one was better or beat the other. You know what I mean? He definitely kept his answer real publicly smart, you know what I mean? But in this clip, you're going to see what he said. This is what he said on the top 5 rappers and what he had to say on the Kendrick and Drake beef. Check this out. This is Young Thug on Aiden Ross's stream, letting you know who his top 5 is and what he thought about the beef between Drake and Kendrick. Check it out.
What are your top 5 albums of all time? Nah, I ain't gonna lie, chat. Yeah, we're gonna wait on the freestyle. You're right. Wait for him, yeah. My bad. Top 5 albums.
So Much Fun. The Black Album, I think. Jay-Z, the Black Album. Take Care. Drake. All Eyes on Me.
Tupac.
And I think it was Drip season 3 or 4. Gunna album before we went to jail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Them probably my top 5 albums. For sure.
Wait me, don't you?
Drake or Kendrick? Like who the best?
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
I gotta say Drake.
Oh shit.
He just did more. He put more people on. Not saying that Kendrick didn't put nobody on, but Drake just did more. He put more people on and he got more numbers.
Shaq. What am I about? What were you saying?
You know, statistically, number wise, statistically, impact on the culture, impact on the world. Kendrick Lamar got a hell of an impact. He for sure number 1 ever in life. Could possibly come out of LA.
Right.
Nobody in LA could never ever be better than him.
That's crazy. No, you're right.
He the GOAT of the West, the whole West Coast. He the GOAT of the whole West Coast for sure. Well, I don't know. I probably say Nipsey, but number wise,
I like Nipsey better.
Yeah, I like Nipsey better too. But I think number wise, Kendrick Lamar beat him. And Kendrick Lamar, he a GOAT. He ain't like, we ain't gonna act like he ain't, but he is. He a GOAT. You know, but he ain't near Drake.
Too much. So as you see, you know what I'm saying? That was Young Thug letting you know who his top 5 was and what he felt on that Kendrick and Drake beef. You know what I'm saying? As I let you know that he played the answer very safely, as you seen. Let me know what you feel, how he played that answer out on who he thought was on top in that beef. Diddy, you know what I'm saying? New Diddy update. Excuse me. Pardon this interruption. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you ain't hit that subscribe button, go on and hit that right now. You know what I mean? At this particular moment and time in the middle of the video, now's your time to hit that subscribe button. You feel me? Hit the like button. Go ahead and comment on what you think or what you might think about something that I'm saying. Comment on it. You feel me? Hit that comment. You know what I mean? Hit that comment button. Leave your little comment. I'll definitely see it. You know what I mean? But hit that subscribe button. No, tell somebody about it. You know what I mean? Hit that subscribe button if you ain't already. You know what I'm saying? What you waiting for? You know what I mean? And tell somebody about this so somebody else can watch this too. And remember to share this also. Put this on your social media and all that. You know what I mean? Let's get back to the episode. Update. This Diddy update is fresh from today. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I didn't record yesterday. Like I said, y'all know when I don't record, stuff be happening. You know what I mean? Time get away from me. Stuff happens and happens on top of stuff happening, on top of stuff happening, and this and that. So by the time I was finally sitting down, it was like approaching almost 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? So yeah, this stuff is from yesterday, but this last one is definitely from an update from today on the Diddy trial. You know what I mean? So Diddy update on his trial so far. What it sounds like, the judge is definitely not finna grant him no 14 months. You know what I mean? Definitely sounds like the judge is definitely not gonna grant that. Because then he would get time served. Like I said, he would possibly be out today. And I heard Diddy made a plan actually for Monday of some type of talk that he had scheduled, thinking and hoping that he'd be released. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely banking on it. But the judge ain't really seemed to like Diddy from the gate. You know what I mean? So he's not gonna be granted the 14 months. They definitely denied that, and also denied, like I said earlier, they denied the chance of acquitted of a new trial. The judge denied both of those. The judge definitely seemed like he ain't playing with Diddy since the trial begun. Even checked Diddy on the definition of trafficking and prostitution, broke it all down to him in his face. And the judge seems to be true to the paperwork and trying to get Diddy for real. In the clips, you're going to see Khadijah Lynn break it all down, and the person who came from inside the courtroom, I'm going to put that at the end. She's talking about what had happened in the courtroom. They were taking a break at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's supposed to be getting the gavel dropped on him today. And they also played a 11-minute video of just him happy times with his children, his younger children. You know, videos from birthdays or him holding a little girl, blowing candles out of cake, or you know, just trying to just convince the judge that he is a father. But the thing about, I'll speak on that, on my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the next little clips you're about to see is clips of Khadijah Lynn. Gonna let you know what's been going on in the courtroom so far up to date. And also, like I said, I got a clip from somebody coming out of the courtroom live as it just happened, talked about his kids and how they all took the stand begging the judge to let him go. Check these clips out.
The sentencing hearing has begun, and he is going over all of the enhancements that would possibly make Diddy serve a longer sentence. There are some big rulings that he makes that are not good for Diddy. Diddy and his team were fighting that acquitted conduct should not be used when the judge is determining his sentence, but the judge just ruled that he in fact can consider some of the acquitted conduct. The judge then goes over to Diddy objecting to characterizing Cassie Ventura and Jane as victims, and he said that that's overruled, that they are victims. He said that Diddy also objects to the escorts being characterized as victims, and he said that this is overruled, saying that these escorts and Cassie and Jane are all victims. They were transported for the purpose of engaging in commercial acts. And that means in total, there would be 10 victims referenced in Diddy's sentencing. The judge then goes on to talk about coercion that Diddy is trying to object to, saying you shouldn't be able to use that to give me a bigger sentence. But he is saying the threat to release videos and the incident at Jane's home, that is coercion. The judge then talks about how Diddy said that he was paying for time and not the physical relations, and he said that is contradicted by reality. He has not expressed remorse for transporting people for prosta. He goes on to say that Diddy has challenged his guilty verdict full-throttedly, including after trial. Also goes on to say that Diddy wants to apply the 0-point offender provision from 2003, but 2004 on other issues, and that's not possible. He also said Diddy objects to the $5,000 assessment under the statute because there are no victims. denied. Because mind you, what he just ruled is there's actually 10 victims in total. And Diddy's team basically says they want to leave some stuff on the record just in case they file an appeal, which I say is going to happen because they already said they will appeal this. Usually appeals aren't successful, but what the judge says next is a big deal. Probation department says offense level is 27. I agree with that. The criminal history category is 1. That leads to a guideline of 70 to 87 months, which is 5 to 7 years, in which I said the judges usually fall in line with the probation department. This isn't his final ruling. He is going to hear from everybody, but this is telling you exactly where this judge's head's at so far, and that's a big deal. And so far, it's looking like Diddy is going to get nowhere close to the 14 months or time served that he's asking for. We'll keep following everything, and y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Trial prosecutors are now arguing why the judge should keep Diddy in prison for 11 years. Government says not only do they want to speak now, they also want to speak after the defense as well. Today is about accountability and justice. For 15 years, the victims have been shattered by abuse and exploitation. This case is not just about freak-offs and hotel rooms. This is about victims, about a man who did horrible things to other people. His currency was control. He weaponized it. All of the factors point at least 35 months or 11 years in prison. The defense accuses us of seeking 135 months, so the court splits the difference. We think probation recommendation of 60 months does not account sufficiently for the harm to Cassie and Jane. The defendant tries to argue that this is just physical relations, illegal substances, and a rock and roll lifestyle. But this is a case about transportation for pasta and violence. The defendant admitted to the violence at trial. The defendant's respect for the law is lip service. Mr. Combs has booked speaking engagements for Miami for next week. That is the height of hubris. He did this for 15 years. He was responsible for transporting many escorts. That's a lot of freak-offs and a lot of hotel nights. He knew it was illegal. Even in similar cases that declined to apply the cross-reference, significant sentences are handed down, including in this one right here. In that case that you referenced, the defendant had been convicted and imprisoned in Cuba in the years prior. Am I correct? And that's why the judge varied upwards? That is correct, as well as other factors. So there is a distinguishing feature. There is also this case by a judge. Man at cases with fear, violence, and threats routinely get significant sentences. This is not just a simple transportation case, but it has major aggravators. As to Cassie, he hit her. He stomped on her. The video from the LA hotel was played many times at trial, and it never got easier. As to Jane, he punched her, he slapped her, a little over a year ago when he knew that he was under federal investigation. At trial, they said they owned the violence. Admitting to the violence in front of the jury as a part of a trial strategy is not accountability. Freak-offs were extended performances of degradation and humiliation. Cassie and Jane did not want to have physical relations with strangers. He made them do it. He had an escort relieve himself in Cassie's mouth until she choked. Her victim impact statement makes clear she still has nightmares and flashbacks and the scars on her body. Jane's text makes clear her anguish and trauma. Mia said she got PTSD and anxiety. Deontay Nash said he has lasting damage. Capricorn Clark says he blacklisted her once she spoke up. Chef Jordan wrote how she was impacted. It was real and serious. He downplays the abuse, calling it rare, but it was not rare. Cassie's testimony was that he was violent with her at any time. It was not mutual. You saw no photos of the defendant with injuries. He blames doctors for prescriptions. He pretends he is the victim. He hasn't accepted responsibility for his criminal conduct. The information provided to the expert was incomplete. He will pose a danger at any age. He choked Jane at 54 years old. These cases cause other problems. It happens out of the public view. General deterrence is needed. Send a message to all the victims and to the public that this defendant's crimes are serious. You could encourage or discourage abusers. At least 35 months are necessary. And then they take a break. So I will be back with whatever is next real soon, but y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
His team dropped an 11-minute video this morning ahead of his sentencing, where he presented himself as a do-gooder to appeal to the judge.
It's no better way than taking it to the streets. It's a beautiful city, running all around the city. It's going to be painful. It's going to be rough. But, you know, if we get through it, then it'll show kids and everybody else that, you know, finish what you started and you can do anything you put your mind to.
It's filled with archival footage of him playing with his young children, meeting fans, running the New York City Marathon, and donating to schools. Much of it comes off like a documentary, highlighting his good deeds. But will it be enough to convince the judge to set him free today? Make sure to listen to the Trial of Diddy podcast after sentencing for all the details.
Out of the courtroom where Diddy is about to be sentenced, and prosecutors came out swinging. They are asking the judge to give him a little over 11 years, saying he is far from remorseful, and then dropped this bombshell, saying that he has a speaking engagement on Monday in Miami, underscoring his audacity and anticipation that he will only get time served. Now, the judge seems to be aligning with a lot of what was in the probation department's sentencing report. Then there was this moment that I think actually got to him. All 6 of Diddy's adult children went to the podium and addressed the court. First Quincy, then Justin, then Christian, saying their dad is their superhero, and although he has made mistakes, the man that stands before us today is a changed man. They say he is more patient and remorseful. Christian getting choked up as he spoke. But then his 18-year-old daughter Jessie went to the mic. As she sobbed, she begged the judge to give her dad a second chance, saying she lost her mom at a young age and already has experienced so many milestones without her dad. Her sisters, Delilah and Chance, echoing the same sentiment, all of them heavily sobbing into the mic, just saying, please give my dad a second chance. They too reiterating that he is a changed man and that his demeanor is much different. Diddy is only a few feet away from them. He moved his chair so that he could face the podium. He's not crying, but his head is heavy and his hands are in his lap. Delilah telling the judge that she knows what it's like to grow up without a parent, and she doesn't want this to happen to her 2-year-old sister, Love. She says every night the toddler asks where her dad is. She then asks the judge to give her dad a second chance, not as a headline, but as a human being. At this point, several of Diddy's attorneys are also wiping away tears. The judge empathetically said, I know this was difficult for you guys, but I thank you. I needed to hear this. The defense then played a 10-minute video highlighting Diddy as a father, a businessman, a philanthropist. Now, another thing I want to know is right before his family spoke, it was his attorney, Nicole Westmoreland, who was on the podium, talking about all his accomplishments, how throughout the years, Diddy has gone out of his way to help people, and how that's his purpose and calling. And then Nicole Westmoreland broke down. Through tears, she talked about his ascent through the business world, how he started the Sean John clothing company, and how he's an inspiration to his community. And then through sobs, she said, he inspired me, and talked about an experience and a speech that touched her that he gave a few years ago at an event. Whether all of this will be effective, we will only know.
That was Diddy, and that was them talking about the trial and telling you about how his kids came up to the trial trying to convince the judge for some type of forgiveness, you know what I'm saying? But that's all the topics I had for today on episode 311, you know what I mean? For a quick little recap on what we just talked about, what I just let you know. Just let you know what I mean? I spoke on Cardi B and Nicki Minaj been beefing all on Twitter, naming each other's kids in the beef and all that, airing out a bunch of dirty laundry until Cardi B said, you know what, let's stop talking. Ain't you in New York? Drop your low. Let's pull up. We got to fight at this point. Also let you know that Diddy been denied, put in a motion trying to be for a new trial, wanted this to be acquitted, and also wanted to get time served, put in for a motion of 14 months. He was expecting to be out today or this weekend. Also let you know that Young Thug spoke on who his top 5 is, and also let you know what he felt about Drake and Kendrick about that beef. Let you know in the clip what he said and what he felt on that. Also let you know a Diddy update from today on the trial that he got going on right now. The judge is definitely denying all of the motions that he put in. The judge ain't been playing with him since day one, and I don't think he's gonna let up today. You know what I'm saying? Although she did say, I'll add this in, the clip from the lady that came outside, that was outside the courtroom, she did say that the judge told him that he needed to hear that, talking about the stuff with his kids. So I don't know if he's finna have a heart in this. I don't know what's going on with that. But that's everything we touched on today. You know, this is episode 311. So now for the closing and final thoughts at 2:14 in the afternoon. Gotta go pick my son up in a second. So for these final and closing thoughts on these subjects, it's time for Kons' final closing thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this is unedited. This is going to be straight shot all the way through. You know what I mean? So for these final thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, this beef been going on for a long time. You know what I'm saying? They've been beefing for a minute. It's about time for them to either fight or shut the up. You know what I mean? All this airing out laundry on Twitter and talking about each other's kids like y'all are grown women. Y'all looking like y'all need to be playing in a sandbox somewhere. This is ridiculous. What is the beef over? What is y'all even funking over? Do y'all even know? I mean, this funk been going on for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But when you start talking about somebody's children, that's where the line definitely got to be drawn. So A lot of people were saying, Cardi B put an end to it. Cardi B won the argument and all this and that. I mean, I feel like she did too, because at this point, y'all definitely got to throw some hands. I mean, she said some hideous things about her children. You know what I'm saying? And her kids is young. It ain't like they teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Her kids are babies. They have babies. She got babies. You know what I mean? Her and Offset kids are babies, and she pregnant with a what is it, her fourth child right now. You know what I mean? So she willing to throw some hands, pregnant and all. That means she had enough, as her mama bear instinct is starting to kick in, and she like, we need to fight. You know what I'm saying? All the talking on Twitter and mentioning kids and all that, we need to pull up. Ain't you in New York? You know what I'm saying? So it's all on Nikki if she gonna drop that location. You know what I mean? I said this a long time ago. Somebody need to put together some type of something to have sanctioned fights, boxing matches or something. You know what I mean? With these artists, they'll be beefing. You know what I'm saying? All this talking on the internet. Let's put the keyboards down and start picking some gloves up around here. You know what I mean? People need to settle these things by jumping in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, get all that talking, stop doing all that talking on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see it. Y'all been beefing for too long. You know what I mean? We talking since what? Motorsport? The single? Y'all was both on that track with the Migos. Both of y'all had a verse on that song. I guess y'all been beefing ever since that. You know what I mean? Craziness, you know what I'm saying? Even to Cardi B throwing shoes at the Met Gala and all this and that, when she see Nikki, and it's just, y'all need to just fight at this point, especially mentioning children. It's a bit ridiculous to me. Diddy been denied putting a notion in trying to get a new trial. Also, putting a notion in that for time served, wanted to get that 14 months because he would have been released today. But the judge ain't been playing with Diddy. I think the judge is tired of Diddy something, because the judge has been denying. The judge been denying everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything Diddy been throwing at him, notioning, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. The judge is like, no. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that. You know what I mean? He tried to get acquitted from the other charges that he got, because he was only dropped the gavel on like 2 charges out of like 5 that had to do with like sex trafficking. You know what I mean? So he was trying to get them acquitted. But the judge ain't with him. You know what I mean? The judge is done with him. I think the judge want to see him under the jail for sure. I don't know. The judge ain't been, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know if the kids came in there and they had something to do with, you know what I mean, making him maybe change his mind, or maybe have a heartfelt, you know what I'm saying, decision that he needs to, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But he said he needed to see that or hear that. I don't know what that means coming from the judge. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if he's finna have some type of sympathy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I know he ain't been, with Diddy on nothing that he been notioning in this whole trial. You know what I'm saying? He ain't granted him nothing, not a bail, not no new trial request, not nothing. You know what I mean? So I don't know if all of a sudden he finna sympathize now. You know what I mean? But definitely that's what he wanted. And then with dude coming out talking about he was being choked by him and all this and that, and being extra violent with him and all this and that, and he had the runaway bag packed, ready to go, talking about afraid that Diddy might catch a body on him. You know what I'm saying? Said he was strangled by the man. The thing about these testimonies, right, they come out, people say, but at the end of the day, it's he say, she say. And damn, this stuff happened 20 years ago. You can't even prove it. You know what I'm saying? You can't even run a test, a lab test, or nothing on your DNA, on your skin. The bruises is gone. If he chokes you, they can't find out about it. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. You should have said something when it happened. You feel me? 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever it happened, you should have let something or somebody be known about it then. You know what I'm saying? Anonymously, secretively, however you had to do it. You know what I mean? But waiting 20 years and then try to come out and jump on the train of everybody's doing a testimony. Hey, me too. You know what I'm saying? I want to do a testimony too. Hey, he choked me. You know, like it's not going to fly in court. It's just a bunch of he say, she say, and stories at the end of the day. It's not really, nothing has really been proven. You know what I'm saying? Even the women, you know, now my heart goes out to the women if they are not lying. You know what I'm saying? But If that's what he was really doing, then yeah, throw him under the jail. You know what I'm saying? But this is just words. This is just what people are saying. You know what I mean? They said that he drugged them and they went to sleep and woke up with swollen vaginas and got bruises on them and felt like they were raped and all this and that. You know what I'm saying? But now, if there's no proof, you can't prove, they can't prove none of this. At the end of the day, it's stories. You know what I mean? It's stories. It's just people coming saying this happened and this happened, but they can't prove nothing. So how much is that going to really fly in the courtroom? You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to fly too much. You know what I'm saying? But now they do got him on the trafficking though. Being the prostitute testimony came out and definitely said that he was flown out. She was flown out. Whoever the prostitutes were, they were flown out for sex. So once that goes down, that's definitely, you know what I'm saying, trafficking, you know what I mean? So they definitely can get him on that for sure, you know what I mean? But they try to give him 11 years though. I don't know if he gonna get that. He might get an additional half of that, maybe. But I don't see him getting a full 11. But I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Don't take it from me. I ain't studied the law. I ain't did no hard time. You know, I ain't stood in front of the judge and was facing 10 years and none of that. So I'm taking my word for it, you know what I mean? I don't really too much understand a lot of the legal mumbo-jumbo talk that these lawyers like to talk, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't think that they're going to give him 11, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Young Thug went on Aiden Ross's stream and got to talking about his top 5. You feel me? Definitely mentioned a Drake album in there. Definitely had a Tupac album in there, you know what I'm saying? His top 5 was cool. I mean, I guess it's anything that you would expect from somebody like a Young Thug. You know what I mean? And then he definitely addressed the issue, the beefs between Drake and Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Definitely took a safe approach with that. Gave both of them credit. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really saying one was better than the other. You know what I'm saying? He was pointing out things that they did that they excelled in the area that they excelled in. You know what I'm saying? So he said, you know, Kendrick got Cali, which is right. You know, he's from out here. I mean, why wouldn't he have California? You know what I'm saying? He said Drake did a lot of more numbers and helped a lot more people. I mean, this is also true. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just a safe way to say. You know, we ask you who you feel won, you know, say an advantage that you feel, you know what I mean, or something, but you went and gave both of them credit, like, which is cool, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's somebody like Young Thug, heavily influenced, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people gonna take heed to what you say, so I guess it was a smart answer, you know what I mean, coming from a person like Young Thug who got, you know, 20s, probably whatever, millions of people that follow the dude, you know what I mean? Diddy, a new update on Diddy, you know what I'm saying? His trial is going on today. Judge supposed to be dropping the gavel on him today. The final gavel, you know what I'm saying? As far as if he's going to be sentenced or what he going to do the remainder of his time, if he's going to get out, if they're going to have another trial, if they're going to drop the gavel on him and give him whatever years, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, it's supposed to be happening today at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? If the update do come out today, I'll probably post something about it maybe later on tonight or tomorrow or something. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be something big as far as the news. It's definitely going to be a huge headline, a huge hashtag, a huge keyword, whatever it is that you want to do as far as understanding the algorithm on the social media stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with Diddy. You know what I'm saying? It's not looking good for him. You know what I mean? The judge ain't been with him the whole time, so I don't know if he's going to start now or not. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. You know what I'm saying? Cassie wrote a whole letter to the judge, and her mama wrote a letter to the judge trying to say, please don't let this motherfucker out, please. You know what I mean? He ain't changed. He's not going to change. He only issued an apology because he got caught. Cassie, the letter said it all. Y'all heard it in the clip that I put in the last episode. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, though, you know what I mean? That's my final thoughts on these subjects. You know what I mean? Thank y'all all for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could have been doing anything you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? No matter who you was, whether you was an older brother, you know what I'm saying? A little sister, a little brother, you know what I mean? You could have been cousin P, Nikki, cousin Man, could have been cousin Pookie, cousin Mookie, could have been cousin Nunu, cousin TT, cousin Tutu. I mean, you could have been uncle, you could have been a niece, a auntie, could have been a nephew, whoever you is, you know what I'm saying? Mother, father, grandfather, grandma, whoever you is. And if y'all got pets that y'all sitting there watching it with you, whether your pet could be a cat, you have a pet dog, you have a pet hedgehog, you have a pet giraffe, you have a pet pig. You know what I'm saying? You can have a pet ant farm, you can have a pet iguana, you can have a pet bearded dragon. You feel me? A pet hamster, a gerbil. You know what I'm saying? You can have a pet goldfish. Whoever your pet is, you feel me? I definitely sweat them. You know what I mean? Like you see the homie saluting you, scrolling up that screen. You know what I'm saying? The beat you hear creeping up was definitely made by none other than Amazing Beats. You know what I'm saying? So let Amazing Beats talk to y'all with this dope beat you hear slapping in the background and get my last minute little comments on these topics as the credits roll. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this video is unedited. You feel me? So I ain't going back and edited none of the speech or none of that. Whatever happened. You feel me? You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching this episode 311. It's Friday. You know what I'm saying? Hope y'all have a great weekend. You feel me? Come back and tune in on Monday. I'll have some more info for you, for your ears and for your mind. You know what I mean? Let me keep you updated on this wicked world.
Hate me, don't you?
Constant motherfucking content.
That they don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that?